Welcome back to another episode of Tribaholics, everyone. It's probably the most fun week of the year now. It's the real opening weekend after our first test earlier. How we feeling, guys? How we feeling?
I'm feeling great. I get to come on here second time ever. Maybe I know I've joined here before for one of the morning streams, but I was extremely hungover. But that fits the theme of the show pretty well, so I did my job on that part. But feels good after week 0. All the stress and anxiety going into this season, at least from our part of things, and going through preseason meetings and getting content all together, it's so stressful. So now I feel a lot better going in this week, which makes it seem a little weird with LSU coming up. But excited to chop it up with you guys and be able to cuss a lot more. I don't cuss a lot on Hear the Spears, so I'm going to use all the cussing I can tonight on y'all's show.
There you go. I love it. And Ben, you gotta work on this intro. Didn't even introduce who the guest was. It's just very flat coming in.
It's my second time. We're getting there.
Caleb, show them how it's done real quick.
I can't do it now. It just would ruin Ben's whole entire podcasting career from here on out. So I'll let him learn on the job. But I'm feeling good. Feeling nice and confident after this game on Saturday. Had I would say a few drinks, but that would be kind of an understatement there. Over here at American Social in Tampa, one of the official watch parties for Florida State. So had a great time. Got really drunk with a bunch of friends. It was awesome to watch the game, even though I wasn't paying all that close of attention. I've watched it 3 times since then. So doing my homework.
Well, that's always good. Well, let me introduce our guest, Logan from NoleGameday. We don't really know what he does. Dustin really does all the work there, but he's here. We appreciate him joining us. We're excited to have you on.
Why didn't you invite Dustin then? How come it's me?
It wasn't up to me.
No. Dustin didn't have a lot of availability, did he? He didn't have a lot of availability, so I have to sub in, I guess, for NoleGameday. But like I said earlier, I'm excited to come on here. It's LSU week. This feels like the true first week of football for any college football fan. Definitely FSU fans going into New Orleans, which I know a lot of people are making the travel there this upcoming weekend. So super stoked to come on here and talk, and a good night to do it, as we just learned about a new addition this evening. So excited to chop it up, guys.
So what are we drinking tonight, fellas? I guess I'll start. I got some weird it's a Dr. Pepper and the moonshine cherry stuff, Old Smoky. It was free. Never had it mixed together, so it may be good, it may be shit. We don't really know, but it should get the job done.
What is that? Let me see that again. What is that up there?
It's been a cool little dog.
What in the hell is going on here?
It's like the Old Smoky moonshine stuff with the cherries. You put the juice in there, and
it's an Alabama thing.
Yeah.
It's in Alabama.
I'm in the backwoods
from the South.
I'm gonna keep it nice and generic, nothing too special here. We had House of Dragons watch party. We have that every Sunday night here at the household, and so some of the boys brought over some Michelobs, so I'm just going to take that from their stash that they have in my fridge right now and drink one of these. There's nothing wrong with this, and we're also recovering from a weekend where I woke up Saturday with maybe a little baby hangover, so we're taking things nice and slow this week. So we're going to get a little Mickey. Nothing wrong with a Mickey.
No, much better than your usual choice of beer. So I commend you.
Yeah, not Natty Ice.
Not your Natty Ice. But for myself,
have some pride.
I'm going with another local beer from here in Tampa, from Cigar City Brewing Company. Florida Man, to double IPA. It's good stuff. Can never go wrong with a good Cigar City Brewing. So good beer overall. Not going light, just typical drinking casually with some IPAs. Went hard this weekend like Logan, so I kind of had to watch myself.
Yeah, I don't know. I miss when you were just on the light beer train with me and how you've grown up. And then Logan drinks terrible beer.
I don't. I used to drink a ton of Natty Ice. It's all around this room. I'm surprised I'm still able to hide it, but there's probably a good 70 or 75 boxes in here of Natty Ices that I used to drink, and that goes to Willie Taggart's time at Florida State. He turned me into an alcoholic, and
fair enough.
Yeah. So we put the blame there on the Taggart time, But now we're on to older things. We've graduated, so we're going to go into a superior light beer, as it says on the label for this evening.
There you go.
But even though I'm on here with you guys, I might have to go grab the rest of that case in the fridge. So we're just going to see how things go tonight.
All right. Well, a little unexpected news I don't think anyone thought was going to happen today is we got former 4-star Keziah Holmes transferred in from Penn State. How we feel about that? I had no idea this was happening. I don't think anyone had. I mean, maybe you knew some stuff from the back, Logan, but I mean, I think it caught me by surprise and a lot of other people who just had no idea.
Yeah, this one came out of nowhere a tad to quite a bit of us. We weren't hearing much about that. Once we saw the post on Twitter about him enrolling at Florida State, instantly tried to get some confirmation on a few things. And him coming into this running back room, I was told earlier a couple hours ago that he is joining the football team. There's eligibility for next season. We're still trying to get confirmation on scholarship walk on that. All that kind of stuff is going to work itself out from what I was told. You also look at the spring there where he can most likely be put on scholarship too, but he's in town. There's a potential that he'll be at practice too tomorrow morning. We'll be there. So hopefully get our first glance at Florida State's new running back. You go back and you look at CJ Campbell going out, which, hurts a lot. Doesn't hurt a whole ton in your starting depth room, but CJ Campbell was really, really impressive. He was going to play this upcoming season. So having him come in, you had Joshua Burrell kind of mix in a little bit with the running backs. The last couple of practices have been more focused at the wide receiver room, but now you bring in a pure running back, a really talented one in his class too. Penn State, everybody knows Penn State does a really good job in that running back room and recruiting wise with Snyder and that, and the amount of talent that they're able to produce and put into the league. So you'll take that any day of the week. Comes in at 211 pounds, listed on Penn State's roster, 5'11", more of a power back. You kind of think of maybe Trey Benson kind of type of player. I'm interested too, because if you look at 2023, and we'll see what happens with Treshaun Ward, really Trey Benson here, what they want to do, if they want to stay or if they want to listen to some offers and see if they have any kind of draft grades after the season, they could go to the league. But, if let's just say everybody stays put, that's a pretty wild running back room that you have for next year. And we already saw what it did last Saturday. And yes, that's Duquesne, is what it is, blah, blah, blah. But you saw the talent that they were having. I mean, when Trey Benson is getting off 5 tackles in one play, at least you can get off 2 of those against LSU, right? You can get 2 of those off.
So we know he's a walk-on, which is my favorite part about that. Is he able to practice with the team this fall? He just can't play this year? Or?
Yeah, I think it's going to be like an Ayabame Tafase type situation. Florida State's true freshman defensive tackle, academic stuff. He'll be able to participate next season, and I think that's going to be the same way with Holmes. We'll definitely get more confirmation from Florida State's side of things, which is always a safer route to go and get the accurate information from the SIDs. So we'll get that information tomorrow morning, but he'll kind of probably be in that same role as Tafase, and he'll be able to sit back, learn behind Coach David Johnson, who got to give him some respect here too on being able to grab him here. And I'm interested to hear some more on how, and hopefully we'll get some scoop on a few things on how that recruitment went there, because it happened pretty damn quick, because he was listed not on Penn State's roster around August 17th, somewhere around that range. And he's now enrolled already at Florida State. So there's definitely some more to learn about this, and should have some more confirmation. But I think he's going to go through that same Tafase type of situation where can't play this season, but will be eligible for 2023, which you would like that running back room. And still a lot of recruiting going on for FSU, and you're hoping in 2024 you bring in Cam Davis, who is a really exciting to watch, and you hope that you can stick onto him. So Florida State in the running back room the next couple of years looks really, really nice.
Yeah, it's interesting. I hadn't heard anything about even him being interested in us or anything of that nature. I mean, there was a report that came out in the transfer portal. Florida was looking at him, and then maybe some other smaller schools as well. So he wasn't really on my radar at all to look at as somebody to go ahead and bring on. But I'm completely happy that he is here. It's only going to make that running back room deeper than it is. Like you mentioned already, Logan. We saw what that is capable of on Saturday. So that's great to see, but it's just so interesting. You could look at somewhere to kind of fill maybe another hole that we could possibly need, but bringing him on is going to be great. I mean, we know what, Mike Norvell and company does with running backs, from their time at Memphis with Kenneth Gainwell, Tony Pollard, Darrell Henderson. I'm sure I'm leaving out a few other guys that he was able to.
Antonio Gibson.
And Antonio Gibson, guys of that nature. So you know what the work is going to be there for Norvell, and they're going to have a great running back room, which, we have already come to see.
Yeah, it should be.
I don't really know what this kid looked like coming out of high school. Did we pursue him at all?
I remember the name. I feel like I'll look it up real quick. I feel like it was someone that we had looked at somewhere. Because I know he's from South Florida. So he's not local, but he's a Florida kid.
He's been around for camp. He's definitely been around for camps in Tallahassee. And I know Norvell, Snyder, they've got a good relationship there. Snyder's been here, for some of those camps. So, Norvell knows his stuff. He does his homework, and he knows about that running back room. And for Holmes, and I'm more interested too of maybe learning on the information of why he wanted to leave Penn State, and who knows if we'll ever get an answer for that, or if Holmes will ever want to answer that. But pretty interesting situation where it kind of came to a surprise to a lot of the Florida State beat, and not really getting tipped off on much until just a couple of hours ago, and seeing him enrolled into the student directory, kind of out of nowhere a little bit. But he's been here for camps before, and
yeah, I think he just got passed in the depth chart. Honestly, they've got some really good commits.
Right, because it looked like in 2020 he had a pretty solid season in Penn State, or at Penn State, and then last year he kind of fell off a little bit, and that was partially depth chart issues, or maybe it was injured. Wasn't really quite sure on what happened there. But like you mentioned, I look back at the 2020 roster for Penn State, and they had some injuries to the guys that were in front of him on the depth chart that allowed him to get those extra touches in that season. So it'll be interesting to see what he provides. Obviously, we're not going to see it this year, so something to keep an eye on. But obviously, a great get for the offensive sort of things there for the Seminoles. So really liking it.
All right, so now we covered that. Let's get into the juicy stuff. Let's talk about the Duquesne game. A very prestigious and prominent program. Well respected across the country. Looks really good. We covered, but I think aside from bumfuck Tate Rodmaker had Duquesne to cover. But,
okay, don't put all that out there. Like, yeah, it was a bad throw. It's 4th and 7. You're at your own 32, and you just throw it right to the dude. But at the same time, look at what he was able to do on that next driver. He's able to help, lead the offense down the field that ultimately ended up in a touchdown. So, he kind of put it to the back of his mind, moved on to the next play, and that's that. Obviously, we don't want to keep seeing that happen, but also good to get guys like him and Duffy, live snaps in an actual ball game.
Yeah, no, that was starting off, you had the rain delay for an hour and a half, which I always wondered too with Florida State. They're still trying to navigate and build that culture and still build some maturity inside the locker room. And Jared Verse after the game saying, Derek McLendon being absolutely fired up, going to everybody. And this is, Derek McLendon wasn't like this last year, and he definitely has turned into more of a leader type. But it was funny to see Derek McLendon being that guy that's over there hyping everybody up. You would think it would be Jared Verse, but there was guys in the locker room making sure everybody was lively, making sure everybody stretched and good to go. And then you go out and you have all these consecutive scoring drives under Jordan Travis. And I think, he made some really nice throws, definitely with the ball going to Portier. Then he made a snipe. I mean, if y'all haven't gone back and look at some of the film on him from Saturday night, that his release, it's fast. And it's hard to really tell that so much during practice because they're just kind of going through waves, and definitely the latter half of the fall camp, it's just pretty repetitive there. But to see it through a game and see it on game film going into a different opponent, guys, it showed that he's continuing to learn and make those reads and stay in the pocket. It's very rare to see him go out 11 yards rushing for Jordan Travis against a smaller opponent. They're trying to keep him there and protect him. And I thought the offensive line, whenever you're substituting a few guys around after Darius Washington coming out early, you throw in Turrentine, you have Dylan Gibbons going at center. You didn't lose the rhythm. Last year, it was a wreck. It was atrocious. Throwing in guys left and right, definitely on the road too. And it was just, there was no kind of chemistry there and communication. against Duquesne, there was chemistry there, rhythm, nothing changed. Holes were opening up for running backs. Coach Atkins did a good job there game planning this. And so I thought those were a few things to point. Just one knock, I think, on Jordan Travis, not a whole ton, but and I'm sure Coach Tokars would agree with me here on this. You can't take those hits. You can't roll out. And I understand that he wants to keep those eyes downfield, and they've been pressuring him to do that. And he's been holding himself accountable, trying to do that more. But 2 hits on Saturday night that just felt really, really scary because, as we know, behind him, you don't want to have that starting in New Orleans in the Superdome on Sunday night. So there's a few. That was my number one knock on him, and I luckily it's all over now. Though he's healthy and good to go for LSU, but that was my one thing. You just can't take those hits, no matter if it's going to be Duquesne or middle of the season. There's a long season ahead. He cannot take those hits,
especially when you're up 26, 20, 31 nothing. You just
yep.
throw it away. And like I get it. You want to be a team guy, especially blocking down the field. Like we're up 5 scores. You don't have to block. It's okay if you don't block. We need you because I got a text Saturday at 7:40 p.m. from Caleb saying, I will reverberate my statement that Tate should be 2. That's what he said.
You got to realize how many deep I was at that point, too. So
you didn't lie. Not once did you lie in that text.
But yeah, I saw a lot of positive things happen. Even though we saw the running game and what it was last year, I think it's even taken another step here. The guys look
RBU. I've seen it.
They're seeing the holes and they're hitting the bitch. Like can't believe where I hit that bit and just went. And so like that's what they're doing. They look really good. They're very decisive in their moves that they're making. A lot of great spin moves by Trayshawn Ward. I don't know how many times he's sitting there playing Madden and just keeps smashing the circle button over and over again.
You can't do that little ramp celebration.
Oh my god, that scared the shit out of me.
What are we doing?
Yeah, so I didn't get to see that live. I was tweeting because I take care of social, so I'm trying to get out the video that we post out for after every touchdown. So I'm looking at my phone, and then I see people on tweeting like, "Oh my God, Trayshawn Ward just scared me," or "Trayshawn Ward, you never do that again. Don't ever do that." I'm like, "God dang, he just scored. What happened? What am I missing?" Then I get home and I see that he had the whole hamstring cramping whole type of situation there, and
it's making
it
into a dance.
Yeah, that was that. Well, to y'all, it definitely was not hilarious, but later on, looking at it, it was definitely funny that he was doing that to everybody. But I'm sure it wasn't funny to Coach Yak or Norvell either.
Oh yeah,
Benson knows.
I'm sure Norvell was having a freaking heart attack the whole time that's going on.
God.
But they look really good. All 3 of them over 100 yards, first time in program history, if I'm not mistaken. So great stuff. Good to see that happening. Offense overall looked really smooth. There were, a couple plays that you wish you could have back where you let guys get in the backfield or there was just a misunderstanding. But a lot of pistol action, which I love to utilize. You can run a lot of different schemes out of that. So I love to see that. I love Jordan's arm. I think Rodney said about 12 times on the broadcast that Jordan's one of the best deep ball throwers in the ACC.
Yeah, he shot a lot of people up. I know there are a lot of people like, oh, he can't throw. He's a running back there. He made some good throws. He should have been 12 for 15 with the touchdown pass if Johnny doesn't drop that first one. But he made up for it with the 51-yard receipt.
And the guy got there a little early with, that's not all on Johnny, but at the same time, that's one that he wants to come down with. But Jordan looked good, quick snap release, being able to pick his options and going through his progressive reads and everything looks good. I know a lot of people can probably point to the real route to Marcus Douglas as something that he might have missed, but again, he was able to hit Kentron Portier on that route over the middle that got us inside the 5. And big shout outs to Kentron. Massive game for him. It's great to see him, kind of make a name for himself, especially in an open game.
Travis might be the Heisman runner as of today,
Definitely. Hey, after that performance, week 0, he definitely looked good. And also Cam McDonald didn't help out his completion percentage with that drop there. A little rusty. I was told limited going into this game. They want to test the waters. He should be a full go for Cam McDonald on Saturday. And that's good. I'm glad you mentioned Marquiston because he's a guy that they're going to have to utilize quite a bit this upcoming Sunday for blocking. And I thought that he's worked a lot on his body through fall camp. He's made plays catching, but they're going to want to utilize him a ton more for blocking, along with Rector too. I thought the tight ends did what they needed to do, definitely to help out the run game for most part. I'm interested to see how they'll utilize them this upcoming weekend in the pass game. But Cam is definitely not happy about that drop and not helping out Jordan Travis's stats there. But I don't think JT cares too much. It's all about getting the wins and getting down the field and scoring. So Kentron Portier had flashes in fall camp, and he had a lot more in spring, not a ton this fall. And now looking at him making these plays on Saturday night is a nice edge that Florida State can continue to grow there in that wide receiver room, with also Pokey not being available. So someone stepped up in that veteran room, and it ended up being Kentron Portier on Saturday night. And then, I mean, of course, you had Johnny Wilson's catch down the field, which was one of the most explosive plays on Saturday night.
He had that DB in hell, and he was only there for 2 drives. That DB was trembling.
Yeah. And if JT throws that a little bit farther too, I think JT was a little surprised by the speed there that Johnny was putting on, because those two have connected quite a good little bit there throughout practices. But I think Johnny hit a different gear being under the lights there, and so a little underthrown. I don't think JT was expecting him to go that quick, but now he knows. Johnny's got some wheels, so really, really nice catch there.
Gonna have to release that a little bit sooner there, JT.
Yeah, and
I hope he's okay. I think he's pretty good. I saw he was. Yeah, it didn't look too serious. He was running around the sidelines after. He's my breakout fantasy guy this year, so I'm gonna need. Some points.
I think he's going to score. I'm sure he didn't help you too much there with the dropped touchdown.
Okay, well, week 1's this week, so I'm good.
Oh, okay. It all starts in week 1. It don't start in week 0.
Well, there are 8 games. It was like, who are you going to start?
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Benson really did impress me. I remember we all made fun of the tape. We're like, but you trust Mike with running backs. The dude was like a slug, just like moist and slippery. You can't bring him down.
Yeah, this guy's slipping off of him. Like I thought it was rain. I mean, I thought it was raining more than it was, but nobody could catch him. I mean, nobody could hold on to him, and he just kept his balance too. Of going back and looking at some of the film, just watching him navigate and use his vision, but also the power that he has in those legs and that upper body. He's not easy to bring down, and that's the thing with these 3 running backs. Everybody has their own different kind of attributes, and that's scary for defenses, because at some point you've got to try to dial in on some kind of run game defense package at some point going in that second half. But whenever you have 3 running backs that are doing a variety of different things, and it's not going to be that way throughout the whole season. Not at all. Like the running back said after the game, there's usually going to be 1, maybe 2 guys that are in a group, but usually there's one guy that is in his game, and you sit back, you watch him, and you understand that, hey, it might not be my kind of night tonight, but it might be Trey Benson, might be Toa Phillies, it could be Wards or anybody behind.
Yeah, 3 guys you can just feed the hot hand if you need to.
Yeah, so that's
not even to mention what Rodney was able to do in late game situation. Like,
I have no concerns about running back depth. Like if someone gets hurt, you don't see injuries, but that would be we'll be fine.
It was my preseason group, man.
Yeah, no, they were. I think they're the strong. That and D
line.
You
might be right on that one. You may have hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, Ben picked D line. I picked running back. So
okay.
And speaking of D line, they got people are giving them some shit. They're on the D line. They're like, we only got 1 sack. Well, they were also just doing like little quick 2-step drops, 1-step drops, quick releases. And they threw it 17 times. Like there wasn't really many opportunities to get sacks. But the pressures were there, the hurries were there. It looks like, and we didn't even blitz heavy. We were just kind of getting pressure and kind of like we weren't blitzing. We were just kind of dropping back more, I think. And also there really wasn't a need to, because everyone's like, oh, well, FSU looked vanilla on both sides of the ball. I'm like, well, surely we weren't hiding the playbook or anything. It's not like we have a really big week 1 game coming up.
Yeah, very, very generic there, and not only for Mike Norvell on offense, but Adam Fuller too. They're not going to do a whole lot of things definitely with blitz packages. I know Adam talked about Jamie Robinson going in down for a blitz on Saturday night's game. They're not showing a whole ton. They did throw in the 3 safety package, which I really like. They have Jamie dropping down. Then you have Shaheem, who they really trust. Who, God, I'm really excited about him the next couple of years. Shaheem looks the part. He's the biggest safety in the room, and he just knows where to be at the right time. But Shaheem Brown deserves to be out there. And then, of course, you have Akeem Den, who's just itching for takeover. And so, the defensive line, that whole thing, I think Norvell pretty much addressed it in this morning's press conference, saying, Duquesne did a good job, and they knew what they were expecting to go against with that defensive line, and they were getting that ball out quick. I think they were the fastest team out of anybody in college football on Saturday night compared to all of the teams last year of getting the ball out the quickest. So they knew what they were expecting, and they got a little bit of taste of Jared Verse, and LSU will look and try to prepare for him. He'll have a really nice matchup there. I'm interested to see what Adam Fuller, Coach Pap, want to do, if they want to put him on the true freshman tackle or not. But that defensive line is going to do its thing. I'm not too worried, and you also don't want to risk injury too. Definitely for Fabian and Coop in there. It's understandable. Yeah, you can get back up there and load up some stats, but whenever you're getting the ball out that quickly, the linebackers had to do their jobs, and I got to give a shout out to linebackers. I thought, Deloach was everywhere, and then of course Tatum Bethune.
He's fast, dude. Deloach is much faster than what I saw in that last year. He's incredibly quick off whatever coverage. Or, coming off the edge or up the middle too. So I mean, he was shocking me with his speed. But I think the biggest guy that stood out to everybody was obviously Tatum, and the presence that he was able to have on that defense.
Should have had a pick. I don't know. I wanted him to have it. I wanted it for him. But
he puts himself in the right spots, and you hope for more opportunities going throughout the rest of the season. But that linebacker room, I think Gaynor, and that happened last year with him too, when they were doing different styles of plays, of switching up where they're running the ball, and Gaynor would get, his hips would get tossed, and it took him a while to crack down on his assignments, and we'll see. And also the injury too, we'll hopefully get an update on him tomorrow during practice. But that linebacker room I thought looked good, and Norvell, Adam Fuller were really pleased this morning with that group. I think Adam Fuller said that linebacker room led that defense, and they sure did, because that's what when you're doing that much too, when they're getting that ball out that quickly, that's exactly what you need your linebackers to be. Put yourselves in the right spots and come away with those tackles and get to the running back and the wide receiver, and they did that. So a shout out there to the linebacker room. They're going to have to be heavily utilized this upcoming weekend.
I did want to say I still don't like him, but I want to give Fitz a shout out. He made every field goal and every extra point, and I'm really proud of him. And they were all down the middle too. I'm really proud of him. I'm really proud of him.
My guy Fitz. I mean, the kickoffs were looking nice, man. Kickoffs and kickoff coverage.
We were kicking off. Yeah,
they were
kickoff returns were not great.
Yeah. Well, that's something that can be worked on, moving forward. Obviously, I'm sure Mike and, Coach Pap are going to pay close attention to that, how they can improve that area of the game. But if Fitz's corner I don't even know what I'm trying to say, like corner kicking all game, I'm not going to have a problem with that as long as the ball doesn't go out of bounds, because it's going to put you in a great position for the defense coming onto the field to face an offense. And you're going to need that. You're going to need to play the field position game this upcoming weekend against LSU, because they're a much better team than Duquesne. No offense to them, but totally different thing. But heading back to the defense, I love the all-around play. Not very many splash plays that we would like to see, whether it's sacks or turnovers. Didn't have a whole lot of that going on. But Jamie Robinson all over the field, like we know him to be, always right there. Kalen Deloach looks good. Defensive line looks good, even though they weren't able to get as many pressures as they probably had hoped. I mean, Verse graded out well into the 90s and in PFF grades, which I know a lot of people don't like to pay attention to, but it's still a metric that you can use to determine how well a player did end up playing in his first game that it was with Florida State. So, great opening night for him. You know what you're getting with Coop and those guys on the inside, Fabian as well. They're there to plug up the run, which is exactly what they did. Didn't allow a whole lot of rushing yards. And so overall, defense played very well. There's one thing I want to pick on is the AZ pass interference. That could go either way, in my opinion.
You can't go either way. That was beautiful. That was the best.
I thought it was great. I thought it was great coverage. But apparently the refs did. But that's like the one thing I would point out. I'd be like, okay, if there's a penalty, like whatever, move on from it. But he still looked good. Everybody looked good on defense.
I was impressed with our penalty situation. We had 5 or 55 yards, and 2 of them One was bullshit, and one was 7 being 7. So really, it was.
That was funny, wasn't it? Just to start the game off.
Yeah.
I cannot. I am so glad Cooper is back next week because I think we should test something out. We should put 7 on Butte all next week. Just leave him there, man on man.
Yeah, I don't think we'd like the outcome of what happens there.
But yeah, the defense, I was impressed. It wasn't flashy, but you give up 164 total yards. You're never going to be disappointed. That's some good stuff right there. I don't care who you play. 164 yards is just something to be proud of as a defense as a whole.
Yeah, a lot of nice communication there, and Joshua Farmer too. I thought looked solid. He got a shout out from Norvell today about his performance, and I thought he, that's what we've seen in fall camp. He kind of just bull rushes and gets right there to the backfield. So Farmer had some nice plays too, and Jamie is Jamie, and Adam Fuller told us today that he just thinks he's such a better player and his frame of his body now, and he just understands, and I think his instincts have gotten better. And so when you see that happen on Saturday, it just seems easy. You just saw that coming. You saw the PBU coming, you knew Jamie would be there, and that's the good reliable thing. It's kind of how you go back when Derwin James was back. You knew Derwin would get over there, and he's either going to come down with an interception or it's going to be a PBU. Jamie almost came away with it, but that's one good thing that that you will have in that latter back half of your defense that you can rely on. And then you're hoping that Jared Verse, McClendon, Briggs can bring pressure. Pat Payne, too, shout out to him, someone that I've been extremely, extremely high on since the spring. He's going to play a lot this upcoming season. Got to see a couple flashes from him. There's definitely a lot to like, and I feel like a lot of defensive things were hidden from us. I mean, Florida State could have done a whole lot more. It was practically a shutout. Tay Rodemaker doesn't throw that interception. Adam Fuller gets his shutout there in Doe Campbell Stadium. But sadly, there's an interception that goes down, and that's what happens. But Florida State, nobody's going to put points on the board because they were just taking care of it. And also, one last thing, third downs. I think 1 out of 10 for Duquesne. I need even if it's Duquesne, I don't give a flying F if it's Childs High School or Lincoln here. FSU fans should be celebrating on I-10 right now that Florida State was able to hold a football team to 1 out of 10 tries on third down. Everybody complains that it happens through games. How about we celebrate a good thing? Even though it's Duquesne, things will be different against LSU on Sunday, but that's a nice for a first game like that, and for guys to understand where they need to be and also hold their ground and hold the line there to not allow first downs. I think that's a little bit more needs to be talked about a little bit more than
no missed assignments. The communication was good.
Yeah.
No mental lapses aside from our beloved corner.
Yeah.
It also just helps build confidence within that group. Right? Like building that confidence from the get-go is huge. Last year's team, we took lump after lump after lump early in the season, and then somehow, some way, they turned it around, in the back half of the season, and were able to actually look like a decent football team. So, carrying that over into this year, it looks great. It looks way more put together, which is exciting. And I think the biggest thing I took from the defense is how much different these guys look, and even in their different positions. You look at a Brendan Grant who has moved over from the safety position into a linebacker position. He looks beefed up. He looks good and fast in that position as well. You look at guys like Derek McClendon. He did not look like this like last year or whatever he was. It's just it looks like a totally different defense that is fit well into their bodies, and they're very comfortable in their positions and their physical abilities at the weight and size that they're at, and they just look like they're excelling at it. They're being able to trust one another, and like everything you guys have said, it's just a more cohesive unit. And they all feel comfortable in where they're at. So looking forward to, playing a team like LSU to see where we actually stand up, because, a Duquesne is Duquesne. So it's hard to get a kind of measuring stick off of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Duquesne is Duquesne, but at the end of the day, we're 1-0 for the first time since 2016. So it feels good, Probably our first time we've had a winning record since the 2017 season. I have to go fact check that. But
up at this point.
Now on to the segment we've all been waiting for. Florida State LSU, probably our most hyped opener since 2017, where our hopes and dreams were crushed, along with Francois' knee. Everything was very it was hopefully this year comes different. So I guess the first thing I think to note is Brian Kelly is being a little coward. Won't announce the starting quarterback. We all know who it is. It's Jaden Daniels. He's not going to play redshirt freshman Nussmeier. I mean, I don't think it matters, Daniels is solid. He couldn't, like Caleb said last week, he couldn't really he struggled with NFL level coaching at ASU, and his teammates were happy he transferred out. So that tells me what I need to know about that quarterback situation.
What do you think about that quarterback situation there, Caleb? What do you feel, Jaden?
I mean, I was high on Jaden so many times, like in the past 2 years. I was always like, oh, this is gonna be the year he breaks through. This will be it. This will be it. And he's not necessarily playing terrible. It's just like when you're in an offense like that is at Arizona State, and you're surrounded by NFL coaches. And I mean, you have players like Johnny Wilson and Rashad White, who is now with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You should be able to do a lot more with what you have around you. Although he wasn't terrible, he's not like a super big turnover machine or anything like that. It's just, how can he get going? I don't know if Brian Kelly is necessarily the savior for that. Yeah, he's getting an upgrade probably at his skill positions, because LSU breeds talent skill positions. ASU kind of has to find them here and there. So he should be better. But at the same time, new system, new head coach, new offensive coordinator, new school. So you're not really going to know what you're getting out of them. It'll be interesting to see how healthy one of their wide receivers, their number 2 wide receiver, is going to be. He just sprained his ankle, I think, this last week in practice or something like that. So we'll see if he'll be ready to go. It's looking like he will be. He might not be 100%, but you also got to worry about Boye on the outside, which is obviously going to create matchup problems. Probably going to want to double him all throughout the game when it comes to that offense. But their offensive line doesn't scare me at all. I think our defensive line can probably have their way with them, which is probably could be the same to say for LSU's defensive line against our offensive line. We'll see if they're going to come out and be ready for that. But overall, their offense doesn't scare me. It just kind of depends how Jaden Daniels plays. And if we are able to get pressure on him and be able to maintain him with double coverage over the top, I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident that Bethune and Delaware should be able to stop. I know he's a solid runner. That's how he beat us a lot in 2019 with ASU. He's not the best runner, but he can get it done with his legs when he needs to. So as long as we can stop getting torched in that aspect, because any quarterback that has any mobile aspects always ends up running for 300 yards against us the past couple of years. So if we can stop that, make him throw, I'll feel pretty confident. We have the best quarterback on the field. We have the best O-line on the field. We have the best D-line on the field. So I feel okay.
I'm interested to see what they'll do with Jamie. And if they're going to have him spy on Jaden, then that's probably your best bet. Because if you go back and what they were kind of throwing us and showing us on Saturday night, like I said, that 3-safety package, allowing Akeem Dent and Shaheem Brown staying back, and you're going to have to do that with that wide receiver corps that LSU is bringing. If you go back to that game at Arizona, or the bowl game, Mike Norvell was there on the sidelines. Odell Higgins, interim coach. That team was just all over the place. You had Deontay Sheffield as your starting running back. You had James Blackman have his worst game of his career there. Everything was atrocious, and it
was still a game.
Sneak by and get a win against FSU, and that was led by Jaden Daniels. I think Florida State's main advantage here is going to be obviously at O-line versus D-line, and Fabian Lovett, Robert Cooper. I thought Robert Cooper had his best practice last week, and then these guys are going to be energized out of their friggin' minds. I heard a few things from yesterday that things have amped up. Yes, the Duquesne practice was still nice, but this is prime time Sunday night in the NFL Stadium in the Dome. You're at All-State Sugar Bowl. You've got everything hyped up. You don't even really need to talk too much about it. This team knows.
Standalone game. I mean, yeah.
You're all eyes on you. Recruits there also watching. It's a big time game, and I don't think this team needs much of a wake up call. Just like Mike Norvell said today, this is FSU LSU prime time Sunday night. His team knows what to expect, and I think now we're going to find out though if this team has matured yet or not. The Jarian Jones thing showed signs of a veteran that really put on a bad role model session there in front of those younger defensive backs. There's a reason why sometimes younger guys are going above them, and depth charts, we don't get to talk about it a lot during practices. We get to see everything happen. Luckily, because Coach Norvell is very transparent with the media, we can't talk about it a whole ton, but there's a reason. You can start picking at some notes here as we go through the season of why guys are getting passed up on the depth chart.
Mm-hmm. I want to pose this question to you guys. Do you think us having Jordan Travis as a quarterback and our ones on defense get to go against him in every single practice, that should benefit us, in my opinion, so much when it comes to having to face a quarterback like the type that Jaden Daniels is, because we do know that he likes to run, and he probably looks to run more so than a Travis does in our offense.
I mean, yeah, they're going. If you can go up and you can stop Travis from running, you're gonna be able to stop Daniels from running, because Travis is 10 times the athlete he is, in my opinion. And also, I think it also benefits, Travis, because he's playing arguably the best D line he's going to see all year, every day in practice. He's getting those pressures. The O line is the best D line they're going to see all year in practice. We're used to it. It's not like we're coming out and we're seeing these big LSU guys that it's not anything new to us. We should be prepared and ready to match up with them well.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a good point there, Caleb, of how well this defenses are going to be accustomed of facing Jordan Travis. I will say in practices, though, he's doing like what we saw on Saturday. He's trying to stay his eyes downfield. He's not running as much, but he will run, and it's not easy to catch, but that's a good thing to have of continuing to get better there of stopping a dual threat quarterback, which Florida State has had a struggle with a while back. They've done a better job of containing that. But Jordan Travis brings an element that not a lot of other quarterbacks can when getting good preparation a whole week. You're going to go all the way to Sunday. So practice will be Tuesday. They'll have an off day on one of these days here. But Florida State gets to utilize Jordan Travis both in game plan on offense, and then if they want to see and use him in scout team, I'm interested to see what they'll do there if they can in any way, shape, or form. But they also have Geno English, who can use his legs too around. And we'll be interested to see even Duffy too. They could utilize him for scout. It's gonna be really interesting. But they're gonna try to at least God forbid if anything happens to the quarterback room, you got to also have AJ Duffy and Tate Rodemaker be prepared to go against LSU's defense.
Just run Wildcat at that point, because we're not moving the ball.
Give it to the three-headed monster.
You put all three back there, maybe something can happen.
Yeah, let them do anything. But yeah, getting good prep for LSU and Jaden Daniels will be key. And that defense already knows they've been doing it for over 2 years now. And Jordan Travis as a starting quarterback, so they kind of get a feel of what a mobile quarterback does, and he can slice and dice you quick.
Mm-hmm. How do we feel about Brian Kelly's statement earlier today? I know he got a lot of shit for it. People were making fun of him. He goes, LSU had an advantage because they didn't play, and we had an advantage that we played. And I think he's 100% right,
Yeah, I mean, he's not wrong.
There's pros and cons in each situation. We're like, oh, look at this idiot. I'm like, well, no, I mean, I'd rather get the week one rust out because we didn't really give him much film to watch. But, I mean, at the end of the day, he played Mike last year. He knows the scheme. He's got film on Mike. We have film on Kelly.
Right. That's the thing, though. At the same time, is that's smart of Brian Kelly to play it that way. That's smart, because why not give yourself an advantage when we've had an advantage of playing too, and why not tell yourself that you're not naming a depth chart or a quarterback. It's probably a smart play on his part, but it's not going to be the thing that ultimately decides this football game. We didn't show a whole lot this past weekend in terms of the different play calling. It was a lot of runs, a lot of counter runs, and then just a lot of just simple pass plays that we just have the better athletes to kind of show. And then on the defensive side, we didn't throw a whole lot at them. We were mainly just rushing 4 guys unless we knew it was going to be a run play. So there's a lot that we didn't show that he's still going to have to deal with. Yeah, he coached Notre Dame last year against us, and they barely came out with a victory. But as we know Mark Norvell to be, his offenses from year to year never remain the same. He caters to his players on the team at the time and what is going to work best for them. And it's different this year. We saw a little bit of the pistol last year, but probably not the amount of times we saw it run this past weekend, yet alone how many counter plays we had to see with the running back. So I think it'll be a different look that we're gonna be sending them. Brian Kelly's not gonna be able to look at last year's team, and I guarantee you he's not doing that. He's not going to look at that game from last year and be like, oh, we can do the same thing this year, because he knows it's changed. It's a different offensive coordinator as well, with Alex Atkins taking over for Kenny Dillingham. And everybody, there's a lot of transfers incoming. We've got 3 running backs that can do whatever they want. Jordan Travis is taking a next step in his development as a quarterback as well. So offensive line is probably much stronger than it was last year. A lot more progression on that side of things as well, especially with additions that we have in Bless Harris, Turntine able to come in and play. So maybe getting Maurice Smith back might be huge as well. So you can't really take what happened last week or what happened in last year's Notre Dame game in terms of Brian Kelly's approach to this game. So I think it'll be a lot different. And if this is his way of trying to get maybe a slightly better upper hand on us, it's smart for him to do, but it's not going to matter at the end of the day.
I mean, hell, like we should feel confident because last year we almost made a comeback against a Brian Kelly team with Peg Leg Pete. Like Mackenzie Milton almost came back and won that football game.
Yeah, no, it was close there with Milton. This is different though when you have a full healthy Jordan Travis that you get to utilize hopefully throughout this whole entire game on Sunday, and it'll be interesting too to see how Florida State wants to prepare on offense, because if LSU's defense, let's just say they're starting to cause some havoc, you're going to have to start rolling Jordan Travis around, and that's something that he's used to doing. But that's where it's like, okay, did the chemistry, did all this wide receiver room talk, did the Johnny Wilson, Malik McLean being one of the most consistent through camp, Pokey Wilson also having a nice camp, Portier starting to shine here, Micah Pittman, which we saw as a bully type runner when the ball is in his hands. Is that going to come into fruition and help out Florida State if things were to go wrong on the offensive line? But I'm not seeing much of a worrisome from what we saw on Saturday and things meshing well in case a guy were to go down and he put in Turrentine. That rhythm is continuing to go and drive down the field. I mean, Florida State was really assertive in these drives on Saturday night. If they can kind of get that going again, well, it's not going to be as easy, but Florida State, if one thing goes wrong, I think that would probably be a defensive line there. But there's optimism about Florida State's offensive line right now. I mean, Dylan Gibbons, you wanted to come out of that game healthy and primarily on that offensive line on Saturday. And I understand Darius Washington goes out early. I think that was precautionary. There's no reason to put him out there if he's going to continue to injure himself and make things worse. So if you're trying to back out everybody, and then you have the chance potentially of having Maurice Smith back in there, who was holding his ground against Fabian Love and Robert Cooper during fall camp, then you feel even better. You're bringing your whole horde with you and to the Superdome, which Coach Atkins would have a pretty good smile on his face.
I don't know what to do with like Boutte, Bouye. I don't know how to say it, but I think Caleb's right. I think Bouye.
I think it's Bouye, but I'm not from Louisiana. I'm just taking a shot in the dark there.
What do you do with him? Like, do you double?
What do you think? Who's going to be on him? Who do y'all think? Who do you think's going to be on? I got my prediction.
Yeah. I mean, it's either going to be Coop or Noles. Ultimately, and then you probably look at if we're playing 3 safety and you're having Jamie Spy, then you have one of those other safeties over the top watching.
Almost just double McCoop and Jamie. Put your best 2 guys on them. Could make the other guys.
You got to have somebody. You got to have somebody sitting there to watch Jaden when he does get out of the pocket, because he is lethal with his legs. That he is good at. He is good at running the football, and so I mean, you could even possibly say just have Gant do it, because Gant is probably a below-sized linebacker who has played the safety position as well. So you could also have him watch Bouye, but you probably trust Jamie more because you know what Jamie's going to bring to you every game in, game out. Gant's still kind of acclimating himself to the position, even though he looked pretty comfortable in it last week. But I think it'll probably be Duke if he's fully healthy and ready to go. I don't see a reason for Mike not to be like, he's yours all day. We're going to give you the chance. If not, it's not a very hard thing to do to switch over and have somebody else cover him.
Like, how long has he been called Duke? Like, I found this out like 2 days ago. So, like,
maybe we ask him. If we have interviews with him this week, maybe we can ask him. Or maybe after the game, maybe after the win.
I've never once heard him called Duke. I'm intrigued.
I'm gonna go sleeper pick here and say Renardo Green. I'm gonna keep a sleeper pick there on me. Just if Renardo Green is, it depends on fully 100% good to go and whatnot. Just from fall camp though, the last 2 weeks has been Renardo Green's best performance since being in Florida State uniform. I'm interested to see. It's all up to Adam Fuller and Coach Woodson and what they want to do there. But Renardo has not been letting anybody go by him, and he's been causing interceptions, PBUs, left and right. He's been all across our reports.
I mean, do you even think, like, no matter who stays, like whoever starts off on him, honestly, I don't even see that one person being there throughout the whole game, because we've got a plethora of guys that we can throw different looks at him, because obviously he's the number one target for them, going to be their number one guy. So if you want to switch it up and throw numerous different looks at him and different play styles at that corner position, that might benefit you more than just having, your star or your best guy covering him all game. But I also think they might let it play out through this week of practice. Who is coming in hot? Like, you want to ride the hot hand or whatever, as the saying goes. If you find somebody that is just playing beyond, their usual playing this week, why not throw him out there to start? So it'll be interesting to see what happens and who we end up putting on him.
Yeah. So what do you think the key on offense and defense is to come out with a win from New Orleans?
Controlling the line of scrimmage on both sides.
Okay. Fair enough. I don't know. I'd be more, I guess, yeah, that's obviously more important. I don't know. I think if you can limit Bouye, I think you have a really good chance to win because I'm not moved by their other weapons.
Yeah, and I think also at Florida State, and I think they're gonna continue with this game plan. Could change, but Florida State's gonna utilize that running back room after what they just saw. That means if they can take away some time in this game on Florida State side and make successful drives down the field and just keep on trimming away that time, nice and easy. Get out of the Superdome and 9 o'clock in this game early so then I can start drinking. Mainly, that's probably the main reason there why I would want them to do that. But really, just to get that time out of the game and limit what Jaden Daniels is going to have to do on quarterback to make him start throwing. If we're going in the late third, fourth quarter, and they're down. Florida State continuing to make those drives on offense with that running back room. I think that's also going to be a crucial point for Florida State's upcoming game plan on Sunday night, getting that time trimmed down, and that's what they're going to do. They did that on Saturday night. That game was moving through pretty swiftly. If they can do that again on Sunday night, it would add a nice little advantage to the Seminoles and Mike Norvell.
Yeah, I definitely agree. You want to get on the board early here and make the that's a cat.
Move, Gilly.
You wanna get on the board early here. Force Jaden Daniels to throw. Make sure that they have to come from behind to win this game, and then you can trust your defense to kind of hold that up. We know that we can probably trust this defense for the first time in what feels like a long time. So that's a positive going into this game as well. I still see all these networks. All these sports networks, whether it's ESPN or gambling websites like OddsShark, a lot of them are still picking LSU to win by double digits, and I'm just very confused on that, on why they're looking at it that way when they're still unsure about possibly who their quarterback's going to be. They lost 10 guys to the NFL draft this past season, even though they weren't a very good team overall. They still lost 10 guys. Obviously, they're going to have talent returning and talent coming in because they recruit the Louisiana State and area very well. And then you have Brian Kelly coming in, who is probably a better coach than who they had previously to that. So I understand the 3-point, spread for them, especially with the game being in New Orleans. But what I don't understand is why a lot of these places are picking us to lose by double digits.
I think you just have the new coach hype. They upgrade everywhere. And the new coach hype goes a long way. And also, we haven't really put any good product on the field the past couple of years. So I get it. You want to see it from FSU first. As a neutral, if I was not a Florida State fan, I'd probably pick LSU relatively big as well.
Yeah, if you weren't so in knowledge of what Florida State's doing through camps and the progress being made, what Mike Norvell's done on field and off field staff, and the progression there, then if you're generic kind of better, blah blah blah, then Vegas probably sets that there. You also got the advantage of it being there in New Orleans, so you're going to have a heavy LSU crowd too, which Florida State will most likely be pumping the crowd noise this week during practice, which is so exciting. I can't wait for my eardrums to be ripped open tomorrow morning at 8:30.
That dick bitch, is that what they're pumping in?
Yeah. See if that's what they end up throwing in there. I don't think so. But maybe Coach Norvell will tell them in the team meeting to prepare for a lot of that. But there will be crowd noise, I'm expecting, and maybe that's why. But like Ben said, Florida State hasn't done a phenomenal job of being able to, and I count this. It's not a season opening game, yada yada. It's still week 1, and so I think Vegas is setting their bets on what would Florida State do against a true opponent on opening day weekends, and they hasn't been so great. So I think
it's
all
just
kinda
weird.
aligns.
Like ESPN has LSU as a 72.5% chance to win the game.
That shit stinks. That is never accurate.
I know, it's just stupid. I don't understand it, but still, at the same time, Sports Illustrated has them covering, winning by 10. Obviously, all the LSU sites have them winning by about 8 to 10 points as well, and then 247 has LSU beating us by 2 touchdowns.
We can use the underdog mentality. We got that.
The only website that has us actually winning is OddsShark. Which is pretty wild to think about. But FanSided has us only losing by 1. So we would cover on both of those. But it's just very interesting to kind of look at, especially with all of the tumultuous stuff that, LSU has gone through right now.
Yeah. And I think I saw DraftKings, though. DraftKings might be the smart ones here. I think they're -3 LSU. I saw that earlier today. So maybe they're the smart ones and going with the -3 there. LSU's also trotting out new kicker too. Supposedly it's been a pretty up and down camp too, from what I've heard over there from the kicking units. So it also goes in a note. Ryan Fitzgerald might have the upper hand, Ben, on kicker versus kicker.
I gave him praise.
He's looked good, dude. Nothing that's been really scary, so that's a positive.
And they'll be in a dome. They'll be in a dome, so no wind, right? Everything will be good. Everything.
I do like everyone picking LSU though. It gives us that little underdog mentality.
Good. Yeah.
We tend to play well under. I mean,
I feel like we play up and down the competition pretty well.
Does FSU? Let me ask you all a question. Does FSU get ranked after a win on Sunday night? And if they don't, or I'll just ask that first.
The winner of FSU LSU is gonna be like 23 or 24 in the AP poll.
24.
I agree. I think to start the season, both us and LSU are probably sitting in that 30 to 40 range right now. Just waiting to get in, waiting for this game to happen, and whoever wins probably does end up getting ranked there, probably anywhere from 23 to 25. Just based off of the caliber of game it's going to be. I expect it to be close. I don't expect it to be, a blowout one way or another. I will greatly appreciate if we end up blowing them the fuck out of the water. Like, that would be fucking amazing. Not expecting it, so we'll see what happens. But I think whoever wins this game is probably going to end up being ranked, especially, there's always those week 1 upsets that happen and guys who are sitting anywhere from probably from 18 to 25. Somebody will take a lump and end up getting, knocked out, maybe a couple of those teams as well, because you don't know how they're really going to play. But then you also got to keep an eye on other teams too. What is Florida going to look like against Utah? That's probably a game that we probably need to pay attention to, because if Florida's able to keep even that one close, they might earn some stripes, because they're going up against the number 7 team in the nation. So there's games that we're going to be watching outside of our own this upcoming weekend, but I think ultimately whoever wins this game will most likely be ranked. But it'll be interesting, because if we win the game, right, and it's a close game and we win close, we win tight, and we don't look all that great, but we still win the game, we might just still be right on the outside of that. And then you look forward to that next game, which I believe is Louisville, which is after the bye week, if I'm correct. So that'll be interesting to see. We might be able to get in on that bye week just by not having to play a game. But I would expect to see whoever wins this game to be ranked.
Yeah, that would be nice. The first time since maybe 28 were they preseason ranked 2018. I'm sure after 2017 that didn't work out so well.
It feels so long
I'm trying to remember the last time. Isn't that crazy though? It would be weird to see a number next to Florida State's names on broadcasts. Imagine seeing that when you're facing Louisville. It'd be, just thinking optimistically.
I'd us not be ranked if we beat LSU. That way Louisville can't get all up for like a top 25 matchup.
Yeah,
that's true.
Louisville crowd.
It'll be interesting to see what that turns out too. If we do walk in there 2-0, Louisville's not a bad team, but they're not great at the same time. you know what you're getting with Malik Cunningham and with Scott Satterfield. So he's a good coach, runs a good program. So that would be interesting as well.
Yeah, lost some talent there, some skilled players from last season.
Mm-hmm.
So they have Malik, a good quarterback, but now we can't. Just like Norvell says, we can't look ahead to next week. We got to focus in on the game ahead on Sunday.
Yeah, we can't. And Logan, I know you're gonna have to get off here soon, but we appreciate your time, brother. Appreciate you coming on as always.
Yeah, no, I'm glad I was able to hop on with you guys. I hope that y'all don't get too hammered tonight. But who's going? Is it both of y'all?
No, I'm not gonna be going. I had a previously planned trip. Me and a couple of my boys from Tallahassee, who I used to work with. Every year for Labor Day, we go to Halloween Horror Nights over there in Universal. So I'll be there for Saturday night. I'll be able to catch the game on Sunday night. I'll be back here in Tampa, but trying to squish in a Halloween Horror Nights weekend in Universal Orlando, and then trying to make it over to New Orleans and get trashed and try and make it back to Tampa all in one weekend is just a lot.
Yeah, no,
I'll be there.
I'll be I know, and I knew that you'd be there, and that's what worries me.
I'm gonna find you.
God, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
I think that's what worries him the most.
It is. A lot of skeptical things going on, but if I see a guy that has a lot of red hair walking near me, even close to 3 blocks near me, I'll be taking the first turn and starting a slight jog. So. We'll see if we'll run into each other. I'm sure we will, though. I would bet at a bar somewhere. But, yeah, I appreciate you guys. Y'all enjoy the rest of the show. Thanks for having me. I'm sure I'll see y'all some point, too, on here throughout the rest of the season, I'm sure. So, y'all be good. And hopefully Florida State can come away with, the biggest one that they've had in a very, 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 very long time. And Mike Norvell.
I'm buying playoff tickets. I'm telling lies.
Behind the playoff tickets, you're already Googling them up. If they go up 14-0 in the first quarter, you're already looking them up, aren't you?
I already are. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I was about to say. I think a lot of FSU fans have been waiting for this moment for a long time, but you got to see how they perform on Sunday night. Look, I'll say that the camps, the spring, and how Mike Norvell has looked and the way he expresses himself. Definitely this morning, there's a very confident man inside it right now. So.
I will say this too. I will say this too. Even if we don't necessarily have the season that we expect this year, from what I saw from Mike Norvell in his first game and what I've seen his progression since he's arrived here, I don't think we get rid of him. I think you play the long game here with him because you know how he runs a program. And all game on Saturday, not once did that man smile. He was locked in the whole entire game, even though we were going up against Duquesne. And he was just locked in, looked so focused, so serious, is really taking this seriously. And he's doing all that he can to not only better, the locker room, the experience, from coming to the stadium for fans, but also taking care of what needs to be taken care of inside the locker room, academics wise, and all across the board has been doing a great job. And it just is going to take that time to build what he wants, which is something that we've seen in his, predecessors at his other jobs. So I think, no matter what happens this season, I still think I'm going to ride with Mike Norvell.
You're riding with the climb, baby. You're riding with the climb.
He's here regardless, unless we go like 1-12 or 1-11 or some shit. He's here regardless,
I like what I'm seeing. It's just it's a different attitude, like across the board, from players to coaching staff.
This is the most confident he's been in like pressers and preseason for his career here. It's noticeable.
Yeah, it is. The practices,
but the players look good too.
Yeah, no, that Coach Storms doing his thing. I know. Wait, are you still firing Coach Storms, Ben, or what's going on here?
Yeah, I don't make those decisions. I'm not impressed.
Oh yeah. I'm
not impressed so far. I mean, these injuries aren't normal. No other program in the country is having this many injuries.
Now you gotta say that, Ben.
You just hear about the injuries because this fan base and the beat gives everything imaginable to.
We get out of all this year, no injuries. I'll give them some credit.
Oh, I will tell you, it's gonna be a violent game. So football is football. It ain't tennis, Ben. You should know this. No tennis.
I'd kick your ass in tennis.
Yeah.
Look, all you would have to do, Logan, is put one in one corner, and then as soon as he hits that one back,
Make
put it
him
in the
run.
other, and he's not making it to the other baseline.
I think your face
I ran
planted.
an 8:36 mile last week. Thank you very much.
Dude, I've seen. You've got like three minutes off your mile, dude. I'm proud of you.
I'm him. Put me on the field. Let me run the floor. Need some pads.
I'm gonna need a vlog style video of that. We see the tweets, and maybe even a screenshot would help us, Ben, until we believe that. So Caleb's giving you some praise. I need better proof. I want to see it in a vlog. So get that channel up and running. Get that up and running. All right, guys. Y'all enjoy the evening. I will talk to you guys soon. Safe travels, Ben, and also Caleb. Enjoy House of Horror Nights, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
See you.
Will do, man. Appreciate you
boys.
as always.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate y'all.
All right, Ben. We're waiting on your boy.
He's not gonna make it. He's on the phone with his mom.
Okay, he's not gonna make it. Well, you want to do it anyways? Let's do it.
Yeah, I have his picks. Send me his picks.
All right, that's fine. So last year, what was it called? It was called Scared Money Don't Make Money.
Fuck you, Billy. Stole our shit.
It's our gambling part of the show where we pick games weekly. Each one of us picks 3, and then we keep track of that throughout the season. And whoever the winner is, not the winner doesn't get anything, but per episode there's usually a little side bet that goes on. Christian still owes me a bottle of wine that I've been waiting on our old co-host, so I got to reach out to him to try and get that back. We'll see if that happens at all. Sean's got a quick question for us. Any updates on Amari Gaynor? I haven't heard anything on it yet. I don't believe Logan's heard anything on it yet either. It just kind of,
I've heard people say
kind of hobbled off the field. Didn't look really.
I know he's in a boot. I know that, but that doesn't really mean much.
Yeah, I mean, he was on crutches, right? Which is what we saw him on.
There's a rumor circulating he broke his foot, so I'm not optimistic he's going to play. But I don't have any information to back that up. It's just what someone who said they're connected said, so we don't know. He's not listed in the depth chart.
I'm pretty sure he was when I looked at it. He was still sitting 2 behind Tatum. But it's probably also a little bit of gamemanship going on there. Amari not necessarily getting to start and things of that nature. We're trying to pull out the best of Amari, trying to see what he is actually capable of. He did hop off the field. We all saw him in a boot and on crutches at the end of the game against Duquesne. None of the beat has released anything, whether that's 247, NoleGameday, War Chant, whoever you pay attention to. There hasn't really been much information that's been told about Amari.
Yeah, I wouldn't bet on him playing, but we don't have anything official. So,
right. I mean, the only thing we have official is that depth chart, and from what I have put up, he is sitting 2 right now behind Tatum. Wouldn't be shocked as a precautionary reason if he does sit out this game. We have a decent amount of depth there. Obviously, it's going to hurt to lose Amari as your backup middle linebacker there behind Tatum. Which kind of sucks, but at the same time, Tatum can almost probably play every single down for us at that middle linebacker position. He's a pro at what he does. He's a senior this year, so you know what he brings. I mean, he led UCF in tackles last year. Has looked amazing in his playing time last week against Duquesne, but I expect to see him have a little bit more snaps. Yeah, Sean, no problem. If anything arises, we'll be sure to tweet it out or something of that nature and see where that lands. But hopefully, Amari is healthy because I like him. He's a great person, a great contributor, led our team in tackles probably the past 2 seasons. So, it hurts to lose him. Hopefully it's not something that is long lasting, but we'll see if he's going to play this weekend. To be decided, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'll kick off Degenerates Anonymous, our new name.
Yeah, Degenerates Anonymous. So it used to be called Scared Money Don't Make Money, but the name has changed, and I think it's a lot better fitting, honestly.
Because we don't make money. Or I don't make money.
Never do. I didn't make money last year either, but I've also quit gambling. I just do this for fun now.
It's so responsible of you. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, thank you, dude. I really appreciate that. but I'm still gonna make picks. I still pay attention to it. So don't misconstrue me not gambling anymore for me not paying attention to the lines.
Yeah, I'll get it started. It's free. I say this every time, and they always get it wrong, but I got Utah -3 at Florida. I'd probably take them -17. I don't think that's going to be close. They got continuity. They've got better players everywhere. They've got a better coaching staff. I don't really buy the swamp at night bullshit. I just think we had the same thing.
Loud. It's loud.
Joke is loud for Virginia Tech, and they kicked our ass. Like, if you can't coach, you can't coach.
I wouldn't say that, but okay.
Kyle Whittingham is a objectively better coach than Billy Napier. They have the better quarterback. They have massive offensive line guys. I think Utah wins big. I'm very high on them this year. I have them in the playoffs. I even threw a little cheddar on them winning the Natty. It's a good payout. 5 to win 240. But I got Utah -3.
Yeah. I don't blame you for taking that. I think the line might be a little low. Because I think you're right. I think they probably do cover, but I think the game will be closer than a lot of people think. I think Billy Napier is a pretty decent coach. I don't think he's that horrible, but he's also not Utah's head coach. He's not him. So he's coming in, new program, new quarterback at the helm, and Anthony Richardson. Henry Jones is gone. Even though Richardson probably is a better quarterback, it's going to take an adjustment period for them all, much like we're talking about with Jaden Daniels, with LSU and Brian Kelly. So a little bit of adjustment period there going as well. So I like your pick ultimately, but it's not going to be an easy task. Going into the swamp at night and you're a top 10 team in the nation, expect that fan base to really bring it. As much as I hate them and dislike them, they are a very passionate and loud group, and they're gonna bring it. Come that it's a Saturday game, right? So
I forgot you were a closet Florida fan.
Huh? Yeah.
I forgot you were a closet
fan. I just grew up a Florida fan. All right. That's doesn't mean I'm a closeted Florida fan. I've just experienced that firsthand. I used to go to games and things of that nature. I used to watch them all the time. I know what it's like being in the swamp for games of that nature. So it's a tough environment to play in. So especially, I don't even know if it's a night game. And I think it is a night game. I think it's one of those 7:30 games on Saturday. So it'll be a big time matchup. Probably a game that I'm going to want to turn into because we always pay attention. Keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer type deal. So gonna tune into that. But I like your pick at -3. I think Utah probably ends up winning by maybe a touchdown or 10 points.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what's mine? Because I don't remember what I picked because I looked at these last minute. So what was my first one?
You had NC State to cover 11 versus ECU.
Yeah, just not on the same level. We're being honest here. NC State is on the road here at East Carolina, so maybe why the line isn't probably up to 14, if you will. They're getting an extra 3 points because they are the home team, but you have pretty much your whole entire team coming back, and Nick Leary. What's his first name?
Devin.
Devin Leary. They're at the helm there for NC State. He's one of my sleeper picks for ACC most outstanding player. If he plays up to his potential, you could even talk about him being a Heisman candidate as a sleeper type guy. He has gotten better every year that he has been at NC State since he was a freshman. Now he's a senior in his 4th season, so he can be one hell of a problem for teams, especially opening the season against ECU. ECU is not in the same caliber of range of an NC State right now. NC State's run great, and they've got a great team surrounding him. So I expect them to kind of run away with that game.
I agree with that. It's a weird line. Vegas may know something we don't, but week 1 lines are so hard to make because there's so much uncertainty. So I agree with that one.
Right.
My second pick, I kind of went back and forth if I wanted to use this or not. I got Oregon +17, and I'll tell you why.
Not bad.
Because Georgia, they are the reigning national champions, and they're going to have a much better geographical location on the neutral site game, whatever it is. But they're returning pretty much they lose pretty much their whole defense. They Stetson Bennett, he's an average quarterback.
The game's in Atlanta. Sorry.
It's going to be a home game for Georgia, but I just think 17 points is too much for me. because Oregon's defense is going to be good. I don't know how great Georgia's offense is going to be, and then we also, it's going to be a very defensive game. The under may be a better bet here, but I feel like I feel like I could at least get a backdoor, low scoring type plus 17 with Oregon there.
Your boy has made it. Welcome
What's
in.
Sorry about
Thomas. No, you're good, bro. You always got to take time to catch up with the parentals. I don't blame you there. I'm Caleb. This is my first time actually meeting you, Thomas. So it's a pleasure to meet you. I know you're
nice to
with
meet
Ben,
you.
but how you doing, brother?
I'm good. How are y'all doing? I was watching it a little bit earlier. Saw the LSU preview. It's gonna be a good one. I know Ben's going down, so that'll be a good time.
Well, let's hear the pick. You gotta give us the first one.
Yeah, all right. So you can't just throw it out there like that, Ben. You're like, oh, let's hear your pick. We just gone over our first picks. We each make 3, which I'm sure Ben kind of filled you in on.
Mm-hmm.
So give us your first pick.
Mine is, and this is no disrespect to Cincinnati, but I think the Arkansas quarterback is him, and I think he's gonna show it, and I think they're gonna win that by 2 scores. So I think Arkansas -6 is a good pick. So that's the first one.
I agree, but I don't
All right.
because I
And
hate
you already. I know that's just emotion. That's an emotional.
That's why I'm a bad bet. I bet with my heart, not my head.
That's why he went like.
I'm probably gonna get drunk and bet
average. Like,
money
you
line.
had a 2.22 win. You had a 2.22 hit percentage last year. That's probably why.
Wow.
But Ben, you already went over your second pick. You picked Oregon to cover against Georgia. I don't specifically know. I don't specifically know if I agree with that. Oregon having to travel across the country, come to Georgia, or come to practically Georgia and go to Atlanta instead of Athens, which is only a couple hours away, not very far at all. So you look at it from that standpoint, and yeah, Georgia lost a lot of guys, but it's fucking Georgia. It's you're gonna restock that cupboard.
Dan Lanning knows how.
Played Bo Nix though for what 3 years now.
That's true. But Dan Lanning knows how Kirby runs his defense.
Okay, I understand that, but at the same time, you think Kirby's not going to have that under control, knowing that he's got a different DC coming in now. He did make his name as a defensive coordinator under fucking Nick Saban, so don't get that wrong. And things aren't going to really change.
I'm taking the points with Oregon. You're gonna know that I've learned ball over the summer.
Listen, you're gonna have fun.
If that happens, Ben, you're a genius.
All right, I'll take it.
Watch. I really hope you start off hot this year and then just fall off at the end.
We'll be better than not being fine all last year.
Yeah, that's fine. My second pick, I'm riding with Thomas. My second pick was Arkansas -6 as well. I mean, you're losing Ritter, which is a huge loss at the quarterback position for them. We've seen what he's been able to do with Atlanta in the preseason, and he's probably a legit quarterback, later down once he develops more in the league. So he's learning after Marcus Mariota, which, Marcus Mariota isn't probably the best guy to learn after, but he has a lot of experience in the NFL. So Ritter's a huge loss for them. I'm not real sure what their quarterback situation looks like now. I think they're still kind of in a situation where they're trying to figure out who it is. That's not really where you want to be heading into week 1. With that being said, you also lose your best corner and the best corner that's been in the preseason this year in Sauce Gardner. He's not there anymore. You have a bunch of key players on that team that are now gone, and then you have to go on the road and face an SEC team in Arkansas that is probably only been on the up and up ever since they got their new head coach. So I look for them to run away with this one. They probably win it by 17 plus points ultimately at the end of the day.
We will respect Luke Fickell in this household. Cincy money line. I'm not saying pick it, but Cincy's going to win that game. Arkansas is fraudulent. They're not well coached compared to Cincy. Luke Fickell will not lose this football game.
Okay, whatever you say. You should make that a 4th pick for you, just for shits and gigs.
No, because I don't want to start off 3-1.
Take them on the money line. I bet you won't.
I'm gonna do it when I get drunk.
I was gonna say it's gonna be a good odds.
Well, the odds are juicy. We're looking at like plus 225 here.
Yeah, probably.
Throw my rent on there. We'll see what happens.
There you go. Never a bad thing to do.
All right, Thomas. Let's hear your second pick.
My second pick is the over in the West Virginia Pitt game. It's only 52. I think both of those offenses, two good quarterbacks. I think that's really low. Maybe Vegas knows something I don't. They probably do. But I think that's gonna be like a 42-35 game.
I can rock with
I can see that happening.
The Thursday night thing's always a little weird, but you also had like a whole preseason to prepare for it. I don't know if I call Slavis and JT Daniels good, but they're above average.
Slavis is good.
He hasn't started anywhere for the past 3 years. He's
USC.
He got hurt. He played
Exactly.
like 3
He still started.
He would be QB4 on the Noles.
No.
Oh, brother.
I'm kidding. He'd be QB3 behind Duffy. We all saw tape play.
I don't know if I think he'd be 2 behind Travis ultimately. But I like the pick. I think they're both high-powered offenses. You don't really know what you're going to get on the defensive side from either of those teams. I mean, you kind of do with Pitt. The defensive line is going to be nasty, like it has always been. I feel like we continue this talk whenever we talk about Pitt. It's their defensive line is top 25 in the nation year in, year out, no matter who's fucking there. So they're gonna, what you're gonna get from the defensive line. But I mean, there's still question marks surrounding them. Losing Kenny Pickett, and then Jordan Addison going over across the country from one coast to the other. Now playing at USC. It'll be interesting to see how they fill that role. But at the end of the day, neither of those defenses are going to be all that scary at this point, and both teams should be able to put up points. So I like the pick.
So that's the one. If you're gonna take any of these, that's the one I think is the safest one. I guess is that over 52.
That's your lock out of your 3.
Yes.
I like it. To the third round, I've got.
All right, Benjamin.
I'll keep it short and sweet on this one. I got Oklahoma against UTEP by 31.5, and I'll tell you why. Oklahoma's got good offense. UTEP fucking sucks. It won't be close. If UTEP and Duquesne played, it'd be a fun first half. It'd go back and forth. Neither team is good. Dylan Gabriel, even though you know how I feel about transfer UCF quarterbacks that got hurt at their time there. Dylan Gabriel is good. They got Marvin Mims good.
Heisman sleeper.
Well,
Venables have defense ready to go. Venables made
that like everybody back. They didn't lose anybody in the transfer portal, which is massive for Venables taking over.
Well, they lost Caleb Williams. But...
Okay.
They lost their quarterback. So.
Yeah, but you bring in a more experienced quarterback in the.
He'll have that defense rocking and rolling because Venables made Dabo because Dabo's a fraud. Venables is the only reason Clemson had success. But yeah, that game. I could see it could be like a 63-10 type game. They're going to want to make a statement. They're going to score, and they're going to score a lot.
I can agree with that. I hate fucking picking spreads that big, 30 points and plus. Just it gives me like anxiety out the asshole. You never know what's going to happen. But I mean, I don't mind it. UTEP is not a very good team, like you mentioned. So I mean, Oklahoma should run away with that one.
Yeah. It's risky, though, Ben, like we learned this weekend. Utah State.
Utah State's a bunch. I'm not going to say it.
No. Hey, 8.5, minus 8.5. It was there.
It wasn't. It wasn't there when I took it. Live betting is a scam. Don't ever do it.
No, it's not. That's how you win.
It's the best way to make money.
Yeah, that's how you make money because you take a line thinking it's going to be great, and then all of a sudden shit starts going the opposite direction, and then you get better odds as the game progresses, especially early on. Like if you're early on in a game and they're going to give you a plus number when the team should win by 14 points or more.
This is what happened with Utah State, and they let me down.
And the team only goes down 10 points, and then all of a sudden they finally figure out how to get it the fuck together.
I hope Alabama beats Utah State by 210 points. I hope Alabama absolutely demoralizes them.
We'll see. My next pick, my third and final pick, is probably it was tough for me to do this because it's gone against everything that I've already mentioned on this show, and that's I don't have a lot of trust with a new regime coming in, a new head coach coming in, and dealing with new quarterbacks, new players, or things of that nature. But I am going to take Notre Dame plus 17.5 against Ohio State. I know I was already on Ohio State, very high on them with CJ Stroud coming back and in our first episode back. But it's the first game of the year. It's going to be a highly touted matchup. I am a big Freeman guy. I don't know why. I just think the guy gets it, and he knows how to round up his players and get his players to play the hardest that they possibly can. Notre Dame isn't losing a whole lot on their team, and I expect them to, kind of come to this game a little bit of oomph, especially with it coming out that the spread was leaked to Freeman today. And he's like, "Yeah, that's fine. We'll talk about it in our locker room, and we'll go from there." So they're gonna have a little juice, a little chip on their shoulder. It is in the Horseshoe, so that'll be a time and a half for them to deal with. But I'm still gonna take the 17.5. If I were actually gambling, I would buy an extra half point for myself, boost that up to 18, just to be safe, because you never know what the hell is going to happen in those games. So I like it. I'm not overly sold on it, but I've got to kind of take a difficult one. I don't always like to take easy ones. I like to kind of give myself something to give myself a nice little heart attack in the middle of a game. So it's nice.
You want to know how that game's going to go? Go watch the fucking 2012 BCS National Championship game. They're going to get their shit kicked in. Ohio State is better at every position.
I think
You want me to double down with 2 points and put money line on it?
Well, that just seems like a waste of a pick there.
Probably. I'm not going to do that. I'll do that later in the season. So if you take an underdog money line, Thomas, one of our rules is you get double points if it hits.
Okay. All right. I can get behind that.
I just don't see that game. I just don't see it. I don't see it at all. I don't know how Notre Dame is going to be able to keep up with Ohio State's offense. If Notre Dame scores double-digit points, I might be shocked. We don't know.
Okay.
Now you're pushing it.
No, it'll be. I don't know. Everyone's like it's a top 5 matchup, but Notre Dame hasn't won a big game in like 33 years.
Don't sleep on them, dude. I think
they haven't won a big game in 33 years.
and
now they've downgraded their staff. They've downgraded their staff, and now we think all of a sudden something's going to change.
Okay, we downgraded our staff by hiring Mike Norvell after Willie Taggart was supposed to be our home run hire, and then now look at us.
Don't you dare say we downgraded from Willie to Mike. Don't you ever say that again.
Well, from the onset, we were like, "Oh, home run hire, dude. We got fucking Willie Taggart. Like, oh fuck yeah, we pulled him away from Oregon. Oh yeah. This he's gonna be our savior," and then just shits the bed. So you're talking preseason too. You're talking Freeman even coached a game for Notre Dame.
I do like Freeman. I do think he's a good coach, but I just think if it was neutral site, I could get behind it, but I can't do it.
It'll be a 10 to 14 point win for Ohio State. And I'll still
first half.
And I'll still come. All right, whatever. We'll see.
All right, so I guess my final pick then is I got talked into this one by Ben. Utah -3.
Ball.
I just think, like you're saying, with the new regime, I feel it's a big push. I don't know really why everyone's so high on Utah. I mean, I know that they finished last year super well. I think, is it Rising? Is that their quarterback?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I know he's like a 5th year, so he's got the experience. But
they're good everywhere. And Florida have country ass Willie Taggart coaching their team. It's the same exact a similar name, the same exact coaching search happens.
But that is my last one. I think that's going to be a really good game, though, actually.
That's what I'm thinking.
It's going to be a really fun game for me to watch, but it won't be close.
Bold claims. Bold claims.
Flashing his fucking.
Can I get double points if I move mine to Utah -14 or -17? I'll take a -17.
You're fucking fool.
I'll take Utah by 17.
You're a fucking fool. There's no way. There's no way. Look, they're going to be in the swamp, all right? First off, night game in the swamp is nothing to play with. That's not something that you really want to fucking bet. I'm telling you, dude.
No, look at the comment. Look at the last comment.
Yeah, we can talk about this, but
No,
Florida's gonna put up Florida's gonna put up a fight. They're gonna put up a fight. Like I said earlier, I think they still lose by more than 3 points. I think they lose by a touchdown or 10. Ultimately, it's gonna be a good game. Utah probably pulls away later in the game. I still don't think Billy Napier's a bad coach. I don't think he's Willie Taggart bad.
I watched him when they were up 3 intentionally take a safety. And listen, all right, you know what? I'm going to keep it at -3, but I want high praise when they win that game by like 28.
All right, deal. If they win by 28 or more, I'll give you.
No, 17.
Why are you flashing your lights, asshole?
Because obviously I knew you were doing this. I knew you were doing this. So
My roommate just got home and he was flashing his truck lights at me from outside.
Ask him what he thinks. Ask him how much he thinks.
Utah, Florida. Utah -3.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ask him about Utah -17.
Is it 3 or 3.5?
It's 3, but would you take Utah -17?
Fuck.
You don't know ball. You don't know ball.
-17?
Yeah, no way. You don't take that. I think Florida wins by a touchdown or
Can you hear
10.
me?
Yeah, they can hear
So
you.
the swamp, even coming this way, the swamp, you never underestimate those idiots in that place. I've seen the craziest shit happen in that stadium. So never -3, yes. -17, that's the craziest number I've ever heard in my life.
All right, well, he can apologize to me next week, too. He can apologize to me next week.
I told you, you don't want to fuck with the idiots in the swamp. I'm telling you, they're loud. I don't know why, but they're fucking
I want a
loud.
one-page essay, MLA format apology to me.
More than any place on the
He said, Ben said, if they cover by 17, he wants a handwritten apology.
MLA format.
He said done. He said
Mail
done.
it to me.
If Utah does,
Yeah.
Yeah, if Utah covers 17 points.
I will gladly write that handwritten letter, no problem. I would
Thank
actually enjoy writing that letter.
Oh boy, what a fucking great time! It's awesome. Back to the Brian Harsin shit.
Sorry, we'll get out of here.
Does Brian Harsin get fired this year? I hope so. He's not good.
No, my king, my coach.
3.
Yeah, Thomas is an Auburn fan. I'm a semi-Auburn fan behind the Noles.
No, them.
I know. I'll take that all day.
Well, it depends on if he has sex with another, staff member.
Can you blame him? I mean,
No.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do to win the ship, baby. Every time Auburn's supposed to be terrible, we go to the national title game, and we're supposed to be good. We fall on our face, and we're supposed to be dead last in SEC. So naturally,
Luckily, this show is what this show is, and nothing like less.
oh god,
he came in my room and just looked at me and typed that.
Is that Benton? Nice, love it. Yeah, we'll see what happens with Carson. I mean, this was fun, boys. I love having this shit going. It's a great time.
All right. Well, I think that's a good spot to end at. We're tracking down dangerous territory. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate Thomas coming on. Hopefully we get
thank you for having me.
tips from you throughout the
Yeah,
season.
of course. Yeah, we'd love to have you on. For the segment. Every week. It's always awesome to bring in. Extra people. So
Yeah. If you can't make it, just text me his picks and I can fade them and make him look bad.
Yeah, we'll keep track of it, and maybe we'll come up with a little bet for whoever ends up having the best win percentage or something small. But I think it'll be good, dude. It'll be awesome.
The worst win percentage has to chug a Four Loko on stream.
so then you have to do that from last year, right?
No, this is the new year. All right. Well, we appreciate you guys tuning in. Hope to see you next week with hopefully a positive podcast and not a sad and depressing one like we usually have after big season openers.
Oh wait, I didn't give my Florida State pick.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm riding with the Noles.
Oh, brother, we lost. I think I'm gonna take LSU money line just because whenever I bet someone, they lose. So I will sacrifice my hard-earned money
Perfect. You're gonna take LSU. You're gonna take LSU minus 150, and then we're gonna come out and smoke their ass, and you're gonna lose $100. Sounds like a great plan to me.
I'll throw 5 on it. I did it last year. LSU Auburn. I live bet LSU to win, and guess what? Auburn won.
There you go. I like the pick. God damn it! I hope we win this game.
I say it's the biggest game of the year, but
Well, to start, yeah. We're gonna say that about 10 times come down the road. So
well, all right. Well, we're gonna call our wraps there, fellas. We appreciate y'all tuning in. Hope to see y'all next week. See you.
Go Noles.
All in my line.